I meant to start this video a lot earlier. This is my 79 Triumph Bonneville, and I did a little bit, I believe, showing the old handlebars on there, which are classed as the European style. To me, they're just normal, I think. Well, hello, boys and girls, guys and gals. I just thought I'd do a very short video here on some powder coating that I have to do. These brackets are off of my Triumph Bonneville, 1979 Triumph Bonneville, and I'm replacing the handlebars with the correct original handlebars, as the previous owner had put on the European style ones, which, although I do like them because that's what I'm used to, I wanted to get the bike back to original. So have decided to replace certain items, and that required me buying cables and taking things off through the headlight. And I looked at the brackets and thought, well, while I'm here, how about let's do some powder coating, just a small bit. This is the items that need powder coating. First of all, I'm going to strip them with good old trusty aircraft remover. I have never seen an aircraft when I've been using this, so I know it's good. And we're sorry, stupid joke. I have, a brush, and I always pour the aircraft remover into a container. That way it's a lot easier to use, and sometimes I can actually reuse part of it. So first stage is to coat this with the aircraft remover, and basically you don't really want to be brushing it backwards and forwards, but you do want to get it on there, so I tend to just blob it on and then leave it for probably 15 minutes or so, and then once it's done its work, I'll turn it over and do the other side. Okay, so no point in you watching me just blob this on. You can figure that out yourselves, I'm sure, but the powder coating process may be a little more interesting. Alright, that's it on this clip. On to the next one. As you can now see, using this stripper has greatly removed, oh great English, has removed a great deal of the paint, and if I just brush it, it pretty much falls off. Now, in order to get the rest of this off, just rinse it under the tap and it should all come off, and if it doesn't, then that's the job for the sandblaster. And the distinct advantage of using a sandblaster is it also preps the surface ready for powder coating, gives it a nice little etch. Do be careful of this stuff, it burns like hell. I'm not wearing a glove at the moment, but I do normally. The only reason I'm not at the moment is that I'm not splashing it everywhere. I'm being a little careful, and I'm keeping my fingers way back. Okay, next one will be the blasting will be over, and it will be hung ready for powder coating. Here is my little booth, and the two headlight brackets have been sandblasted, and I spray them with brake cleaner to clean the crap off. And the next thing now is to actually apply the powder coat. For this, there is a positive negative charge, the terminal up here, hopefully you can see that, and then the other charge here from the gun. Now, there is also an air line attached to this. What you have to do is press this little button here and then make it spark. That tells you it's charged it, and that is now ready for me to spray, and you keep the button pressed whilst you spray it. And as you can see, it's being attracted to the metal. It is also being attracted to the other side of this, but I will do that side as well, just to be sure, because I like to make sure I get a good coat. And I'm shaking this because the powder kind of compacts itself down inside, so I try and get it moving although you can normally do it just like a spray can. It's not not playing the game when it compacts itself. And here is the connection here, which I will now put onto this piece, and it has to be direct. And we will do this one now. Now normally I would be wearing a mask on this. I'm not, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. So I'm trying to keep myself as far away as possible from this powder. It's not a good idea to be breathing this stuff. There you go. That is now coated. I will turn it around and show you me doing the other side. Oops, hang on a second. I need to take this off. Sometimes you forget shit. I do. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say, I guess, is that you can see that these are normal oven racks. Reason being that I have an electric oven. You can't use gas. I have an electric oven that I bought off of Craigslist. Cost me $25. I didn't care if the top rings were working or not. All I care about is the oven. And then I made my booth the same size as the oven, so that I knew if it fitted in my booth, it would fit in my oven. Okay, and that's looking pretty good in there. Okay, one more to do, and then we cook it. And basically you just have to keep doing this until you feel you've got enough on. And I use that word basically, and I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Like I hate the word like. People show their ignorance and can't speak properly if they use like all the time. It either is or it isn't. Very rarely is it like, unless I like you. Alright, so that's all done now. We will now put this in to the oven and bake it. And here are the two headlamp brackets, now powder coated. Looking rather nice, I think. Maybe not perfect, but I think they're looking really good. And once they're on the bike, nicely protected by powder coat, that'll be great. Looking forward to putting it all back together as soon as my parts arrive from my buddy Westcott out in Florida, a Triumph specialist who is actually amazingly helpful. I know he's trying to sell me stuff, but he's also extremely knowledgeable. And in case you guys have never actually dealt with him, got any parts from him, I will show his card. He doesn't pay me anything for this. This is his card, Westcott Cycles Incorporated, and his number, in case you're interested, is 954-771-8181, and it's westscottcycles.com is his website down in Fort Lauderdale. He's really worth a call. He's a good guy, very helpful. Plug over, and no, he's not paying me for that. Just a little update on the Triumph. Just finished cleaning this baby up. Sorry that you can see my reflection and the camera work. And just put new grommets in it, brand new grommets. The old ones were so rotten they just fell out. So, just wanted to show you guys this. It, to me, looks rather nice. It'll be polished again once I put it in, because I will no doubt get fingerprints all over it. And as I do some more wiring and connections, I'll show you that as well. The inside I couldn't get too clean, unfortunately, but okay, I know it's not seen, but I do like to keep these things clean. And I believe I have these grommets in the right way round. There's kind of a dish there, so I figured if water got in there, the dish would head it out, whereas this side there is a ridge which would keep the water in there. That's my theory. The theory that is mine, as Monty Python would say. So hopefully I'm correct in that. Alright, that's enough on that one for the moment. And there she is, beautiful and shiny. Alright, this is an unusual video for me to do. It's on my Triumph Bonneville. It's a 750, 1979. The previous owner had installed European, as you guys call them, handlebars. To me they're just normal. However, I wanted to get this bike back to its original format, and so I've been purchasing various items to do that. Currently working on the front brakes and getting the relevant rubber boot and hoses, replaced all the seals here, powder coated this. Yes, I'm stupid, I get carried away. Of course, a lot of the stuff comes through the headlight. Triumph, why do you do this to me? But the main reason for this particular video is the front brake. What a design that is. The caliper cannot come off without you taking the bloody wheel off. I'm sorry, Triumph, that's a dumbass design. All this needed to be was a couple of bolts, not studs. What's the matter with you? No wonder you almost go out of business every 6 weeks. Alright, so anyway, anybody that's got one of these, you do have to take the front wheel off. Granted, it's not a particularly arduous problem. There are 4 studs, no nuts here, 4 over here. Do remember to undo these, because otherwise this little aluminum piece doesn't come off. You see, look, it. If I can get it to come off now, of course, which it's going to fight me. And that one just fell off. So you can see this has to be undone, and do make sure which way round it goes, because there's a little lip, and it's also very lively, I've seen. So there we go. All right, that's going to stay on there now. The caliper itself, which I have over here, and I'm going to rebuild that. I've already rebuilt the master cylinder. So I've got to get these pistons out, and I'm probably going to blow those out with air. That, to me, is the way I like to do it. And this supposedly brilliant caliper doesn't need any rebuilding, but by that I mean the finish on it. But I'm going to powder coat it. Not sure what colour yet, something relevant. And the little pack of the seals. So that should be fun to do, and when I do it, which will not be for a few days yet, as there's a few personal items I have to deal with, we will get this all put together, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Hopefully you will find it of interest. Alright, boys and girls, just to let you know, the caliper is back on. This is the way you have to do it. As I said, you have to remove the front wheel. Nice new pipe. Do note the area that is, what should I say, excessive. It's not excessive. It's so that when the forks go up and down, you don't shear the brake hose pipe and lose your brakes. I've got everything back together now. I've yet to bleed the brakes. I'm going to put the wheel back on first, so that I can really pump the brakes up and then bleed it away here. I did try just doing a gravity bleed, but that hasn't worked. So I'm going to use my special tool to suck the fluid through. I've topped up the reservoir up here and inserted the cap. And that's, I guess, this is not a style of system I've met before, but maybe that helps push it through. I don't know. We will find out tomorrow. Hopefully that wasn't too blurred. Hopefully that was in focus for you guys. And yes, I'm screwing it backwards because I want it to. There we go. click on. All right, and we'll see how that goes. And tomorrow, once I've once I start putting the brake in, come on, engage your brain cell, Gary. Once I've started to put the wheel in, I'll video it in case you're in the least bit interested. Once I've got my new nuts and washers and split pins, or as you call them, cotter pins, from my local Ace store. Alright, all wires are now reconnected. I do have a problem with my flashers, so I've got to locate the flasher unit. Pretty sure I got all the connections correct, but that of course is always debatable. What I've done is I put the original ones back on, the original turn signals, and they're a little dirty inside, so I'm going to clean them out as well. Also make sure they've got a good ground. Then the next thing I will be doing will be filling this reservoir full of .5 brake fluid. As I've replaced all the components on this front brake system, I'm going to use .5. It's so much better than all the others, and I will change all the rear ones. Although it's a separate system, I won't need to do it straight away. Let's just get one thing done at a time and get this baby back on the road. Just a little aside here, I disconnected this pipe because I wanted to get the pistons out so that I could get the fluid to come down in behind the pistons. When you push the pistons in, of course it takes up all the space. So now I'm going to pour some fluid in once I've reconnected this, and we will see how it goes from there. Whoop-de-doody. Oh, and although none of you may care, I tied these up. I just thought it looked a lot neater than letting them hang. Keeps them out the way. Don't really like using cable ties. I'm going to find something else that's a little nicer, maybe some kind of steel strap, or I don't know, something a little better than cable ties, but for the moment that will do.